Ira Epstein with your morning flash update for this Wednesday, Fed Day. Yep, it is Federal Reserve Day, and it is the 4th of May, 2022, just after 8:30 a.m. Central Time. Now, had I put this out 5 minutes ago, all these stock indices were nicely higher. Since the market is in the reopening process, and I've warned you about this, what happens is right now you get markets, they're opening in different areas, so you get downs, ups, it's got to weigh them all. 10 minutes from now, you'll know where the market is. But the move today, and what you got to be careful about is, what does the Fed move mean? Number one, the market's baked in, I'll use that phrase, a 50 basis point hike. It is baked in a $95 to $100 billion a month runoff of the balance sheet. What if the Fed does a 75 basis hike? They generally don't like to pull big time surprises, but the market's already talked about that for June and July. Could they move it forward? I don't know. Big update, as you can see in the energy markets, all taking off to the upside. Trying to figure bonds and notes out today. Flip a coin, go to Vegas, have a good time with it. Look at the move that's happening in the grain markets. And this is a sell-off from the highs. When I started putting out my morning update, in the corn market, you were trading at the 793.5 zone, so you've moved up about 4 cents, but the wheat has come up rather dramatically since that point in time. Cotton's on a tear to the upside, up another 2 cents there. When we take a look at the metals, they're all still under the pressure of China and potentially higher U.S. rates. Dollar selling off at the expense of a number of currencies today. And again, everything's going to be impacted by the Fed move. Now, we had economic data, came out with the mortgage market recap, but I like these numbers. The market's absorbed it. You're looking at the headline index up 2.5%. The purchase index was up 4.1. You're not going to do a lot of refi right here. You've already done that with the low rates. So these are the new homes, and that's what you watch. ADP, this is not a great number. 247,000 jobs. They expected 390. This I think is one of the lower numbers that we've had since the pandemic, actually, and the coming out of that. So I'd be watching that. Trade balance, we expected 106 negative. We got 109. Now, what I don't know is as we keep giving Ukraine all these funds, and I'm not saying we shouldn't, but as we do, what does that do to the trade deficit? I don't know how they figure that out. But you can see the import-exports. At 1 o'clock, we get the Federal Reserve statement. At 1:30, the press conference. Keep in the back of your mind the yin-yang impact. What I mean by that is think of the time in Asia when we have our conference at 1:30. Most people are sleeping there. They wake up afterwards, they react. Europe, it's nighttime when our conference happens in most of the countries. They'll react to Asia and the U.S., and by the time it gets back to us, it could be a whole different set of events. In a surprise move today, the Reserve Bank of India, of all things, made an unscheduled move of 40 basis points. That's almost a half a point that they moved on their key interest rate level. And in addition, they took their cash reserves up 50 basis points to 4.5%. That's going to squeeze the economy. They're trying to take the inflation scenario of energy and so on out of it. Iceland today, I'm just showing you how many banks are making the move. Their monetary policy committee lifted the 7-day term rate by 100 basis points, a full percentage point in their attempt to tamp down inflation. And the Bank of England tomorrow is expected to raise its rates by 0.25 point to 1%. So you have your hands full. This is where the markets get out of whack to the upside, the downside temporarily, and then they start stepping back in. I'm going to discuss all this tomorrow in our live webinar. So if you haven't received my invite, it means you're not on my mailing list. But you can get there. It's really simple. All you need to do is take your cursor, push it up here. You're going to see an icon come out. When you see that icon, fill out the form. If you want me to cover certain charts for you, you'll see in your receipt, after you fill out the form and you get your password to get in with the link for the webinar, what do? Right in that receipt, you're going to see my email address. Click on it, write me what markets you'd like me to cover. Give me an opportunity to build the charts for you. Ideally, if they're stocks, ETFs, spiders, because that's where you want me to do that. Give me the time to build it. I have all the futures markets already built. With all that, I am Ira Epstein. You have a great trading day, and I'll see you at the end of the day with our market wrap-ups.